So all those radiation producing machines can produce radiation. So we use that depending on the cases or situation. We use all kind of radioactive source to treat the patient typically with cancer or some with functional like a trigeminal neodyma. So the patient have severe pains in their face, and the radiation is one way to treat it. Okay, let's go to the next one. So here is a picture of a typical linear accelerator. And you can see here this is already called a modern radiation machines. So they have a radiation source from electrons go all the way shooting into a tungsten target. And when the radiation of those electron beam hitting the high Z material, tungsten target, because of momentum conservation, the energy from other side of tungsten, of that tungsten target is come out in the form of X-rays. That's how we acquire the high energy and the X-rays. They're typical in the million volts range. So next one. Here's the famous picture we want to show you. And you may have heard the story of this. When this scientist, back over 100 years ago, when he was doing research on the X-ray tube at that time, he accidentally put his hand into the image of that source, radiation source come out, and get an image of his own hand with his wedding ring. So that's the early days of how radiation was discovered, and this is the early image of X-ray. Let's go to the next one. And here is the distribution about what field, subfield that a medical physicist would be in. You can see the blue, the cyan color. So more than probably 3/4 of medical physicists working in the radiation therapy, just because of high demand of medical physicists in the field. Because every cancer center, you have at least one physicist. In our current cancer center here, we have 3 physicists. So you need at least one medical physicist to evaluate the machine performance and also perform the high, intensity radiation plans, which with physics background, you understand how machine works, you can produce the good quality plan. Let's go to the next one. Okay, let's go next one. Okay, so here is the picture that I described here. So you have an electron beam being created on a device, then get accelerated through the waveguide and get turned by the magnet into in the head, then to turn around the electron beam pointing downwards. Then you shoot the target, you have collimation on the X-ray machine, X-ray rays created. So you collimate the X-ray into certain shape according to the target you want to shoot. Okay, let's go next one. And here is a picture of a real patient being treated. We have some lasers there to line patient up on patient body. And so this is the picture of, we still have the picture like this daily in our cancer center. Right now we have 2 machines like this. We are treating about 120 patients a day on both machines. Let's go next one. Here's a typical radiation plan. This patient have a head and neck cancer. You can see that we have radiation coming in from all different angles, and at each angle, your radiation field is shaped differently, depending on where that spinal cord you want to avoid. But the rest of the cancer area you want to radiate. So you can see very typical, the middle, there's no radiation because spinal cord is in there. So that goes from each field. So this is the 9-field head and neck MRT case. Let's go next This is the image you can see in daily in the cancer center. So you typically have physicians, you have physicists, you have nurse, you have different specialty physicians. They are all working together. Look at the images, look at say all the axial images. This is the image of the patient treatment plan. So they try to, you can see here the shape of the radiation field is you try to avoid draws, you try to block beam going through the spinal cord. So you create a treatment plan to best for patient in that situation. Okay. This is a typical treatment result if you look at the axial images. And you can see the red area is where the tumor is. Typically, physicians draw where the target is. Once they draw the target, the physicist, all the dosimetrists, would draw they call it organ at risk. In this case, you have eyes, you have optic nerve, you have optic chiasm. So those are the structures have certain dose limit. Ideally, you want to give as high a dose as possible to the target. But in the meantime, you have certain dose limit to the nearby organs. Because if you give too much radiation, let's say to the optic nerve, patient will go blind. Patient cannot see anymore. You cure the cancer, but you blind the patient. So there's a balance. We have to figure out what's the maximum dose we can deliver to the target, whereas preserve the important function of the patient. All right, so this is another view of the inside brain. You can see this is a typical picture of radiosurgery. But this is the early days of radiosurgery where the neurosurgeon have to put a frame on the patient head with all the screws. They use the local numb so patient don't feel the pain. But you have to put the frame on the patient head. You have to take the images with CT and MR, and in the end, you create a radiation treatment plan. And this is the image of that. Okay. So this is the typical picture of the physicist. What they do here is, this is the typical physical phantom made of polystyrene, all they call it solid water equivalent. So physicists understanding how the radiation interact with the end chambers. You would have radiation detectors there, then connect to electrometer outside. You check the performance of radiation. That's the typical image of a physicist look like in the treatment room. We do that when we are not treating the patient. So typically, in the evenings, on the weekend, that's what we have the machine available to physicists and do this kind of work. Okay, so now talk about, as a physicist background, like you in the bachelor degree in physics. This is what it takes to be a medical physicist. So typically, you need academic training. You need to get a master or PhD degree in medical physics or in related postgraduate degrees. Then you need clinical training. So you need to go through a residency in clinical medical physics. This is changed compared to 20 years ago. 20 years ago, there's not many medical physics training programs available, even fewer residency programs available. But for the physicists to get into the field, typically they get their degree, master or PhD, then they go to a hospital. They call it on-the-job training. So you work with experienced physicists, learning all the basics, and slowly it takes about 3 to 5 years. You are capable to handle the clinical situation. But now this route no longer available. This is the only way. Get a degree, then get residency. They try to emulate this as the medical doctors. The medical doctors, let's say after you get your bachelor degree in whatever undergraduate degree, right? Then you go to medical school for 4 years, you get an MD. Then you choose a specialty field. Takes 3 minimum maybe 7 year maximum to go through all different, depending on subspecialty. You get that residency training, then you can practice medicine in the real world. And so this is the graph showing this, and I have modified from original ones because this is the only way, this is where most of you are, right? So if you want to pursue a career to medical physics, typically get a degree, either in medical physics or in other physics related. Another specialty that we use and are best suited for medical physics training is if you are doing experimental nuclear physics. You have a lot of background, fit the medical physics. You don't have medicine background, but you have a lot of nuclear related background in there. Then you have to go through this residency program. Typically it's 2 years. You are in the clinic working with experienced medical physicists. For 2 years, they typically put you in each 3 months, you are in a subfield, like brachytherapy. Then 3 months in radio, SRS, stereotactic radiosurgery. So after 2 year rotation, you are well-rounded in all subfields of medical physics. Then you are ready to come to the real world and practice medical physics in a cancer center. Okay. There are certain requirements on classes, just like your undergraduate physics degree. So for a master degree, you have certain number of credits you have to take. And for PhD, you have, based on your background in the master degree, you have to have additional research and classes to take. But after this, typically take 2 years, get a master degree, another 3 years, get a PhD. But some places, you can go in there as a PhD candidate. Take 5 years, when you get out, you get a PhD degree. You don't have to go through the masters. So every program is different. Okay, so this is very similar to which field the medical physicists work in the real world. And you can see still private hospital is majority of that. Then university hospital also have a big chunk. Then they have a government, they have a private practice or physicist consulting group. The government have, the university hospital typically have more physicists because they are doing a lot of physics related research. They are there either doing clinical research or they try to develop new devices or new procedures. So they employ a lot more physicists in this university hospital. But in private practice, you have majority of physicists. There, they typically have less physicists, they have higher clinical load. So depending on which area you are interested in, if you are interested in clinic work, this is the field you want to get in. But if you are more interested in research, in medical physics, this is the area you want to get in. And this is the last slide, because there is a society called the American Association of Physicists in Medicine. And here is their website. With this website, you should be able to get all the information about what is medical physics, what program they are offering in right now, either in this country, in Canada, in different part of the world, and also the residency program. So this website, if you are interested in knowing more about medical physics, this would be the website you want to look into and get those information. Okay, I have 2 very short videos, and so I want to show you that. The very first one is showing a 2 minutes video. You can see they are the students of just in the program.
The sense that you will have completed something that very few people in the world have ever strived for, that have ever attempted. I think that is really one of the most enchanting things about being a medical physicist.
I was always interested in medicine. My dad's a doctor, but I didn't want to go to med school. I liked physics. And so that was the perfect amalgamation of my interests.
You know, I was good at physics in high school and undergrad, and I found medical physics, which is a way to use knowledge of physics to help people have better lives.
I get to apply that concept that you learn in your nuclear physics class, your E&M class, and apply it every single day in the clinic, and I'm making a difference.
I really can't see myself doing anything else. I love the hands-on research. I love interacting with patients. I love being able to go from idea to clinic in a matter of months.
It was really gratifying to see, okay, here's this basic physics experiment that we can do. It's, you know, a reasonable concept, and then it's implemented clinically, and you know, it's being used for patient care.
You know, you really are making a difference in someone's life. You know, you're improving their quality of life in one way or another. And when you can actually see it, it makes you want to keep doing what you're doing.
When you say to a patient, this research that we've worked on is helping you because we're more certain of where your tumor is.
It'll make the cancer shine bright against the background.
I like seeing my ideas actually being used in the clinic to help either diagnose patients with cardiovascular disease or come up with new ways to do dosimetry techniques, making measurements more accurate.
Medical physics is tremendously important, not just to clinic, but to the development of these new, important, relevant technologies.
Basically just get in the field or have lived experience in the field, talk about why they want to be in the field. Another video would be this group of people 10 years later when they're getting old, but see what they talk about as a physicist in the clinic.
Medical physicists deal with all aspects of the patient care that involves the human body or the technology that is used to care for it.
We're the people who understand the technology, the computers, the algorithms, and how those apply and how they might cause risk to the patient, and therefore what must be done to make things safe.
The public needs to feel safe about the care that we provide.
Not just that I understand the equipment, but that I also understand when things go wrong and how I can help.
In some sense, our job is to put out fires that pop up in the department, solve new and unique problems that come up in the department. And that's where you earn your living as a medical physicist. That's where you show that you're a problem solver.
I see us first and foremost as really safety champions. Everything from the regulatory aspect of it to, you know, the equipment and acceptance and commissioning, and then understanding for these new technologies how to embrace it and to integrate it into clinical practice.
We literally every day take something that has a scientific background and use it in a practical way to treat patients or to help in a process to treat patients.
Medical physicists are the ones that ensure the safety, the accuracy, the precision, and the value of patient care.
We have graduate level science training that is essential technology-based healthcare.
Somebody that can take very complex scientific principles and distill them to something that's very practical at the moment. So we are people that understand science, but also people that understand healthcare, and you put those together, and that is the medical physics professional.
Research is a strong and integral part of medical physics. Not very long ago, MRI scanners, CT scanners, PET scanners, all of these used to be toys in some researcher's lab somewhere. And now, when you look around us, they are used everywhere in the clinic.
Being a medical physicist, I can directly see where my work goes to. So I can see how the project that I'm working on can potentially impact the patient healthcare. in 5 years, in 10 years, or maybe even if I do it fast enough, maybe in 3 years. That's a very satisfactory feeling.
Think about Marie Curie, think about Albert Einstein, who have really shaped our civilization. With medical physics, we can bring that level of rigor and scientific presence into human health. Patient is ultimately the beneficiary of the work of a medical physicist.
All of our work are centered around patient care.
Today, anytime if I wonder why I do what I do, I can get up from my desk, walk 50 steps down the hall and see all the patients' faces sitting there waiting for their treatment, see the patients on the treatment unit, and see the profound impact that we're having on those patients.
These are all somebody's brother, sister, mother, father. You see them holding hands. You see them being anxious about what's going to happen to them. And we're there as a part of making sure that they receive safe, high-quality care.
Quality patient care relies on active contribution of a seasoned medical physicist.
Just daily to walk into the department and say, yeah, this patient got treated because I'm here. That's just something that no other profession can reach.
I don't know what my day is going to be like when I go in, and I'm never doing the same thing twice. There's always something more that you could do. It really never gets old.
I've been doing this for 40 plus years, and I still come to work each day ready to do something really fun. I love my work.
It is the most rewarding profession I can think of as a scientist. I mean, where as a scientist do you touch someone's life every single day in a good way? Directly, really hands-on directly.
It's surprising how fast time goes when I'm at work, and it really, really is a rewarding profession.
So majority of those speakers, and I know them personally because this field is kind of small. There are about 5,000 clinic medical physicists in this country. And so majority of them, you go to the meeting, you see them. And also you can see majority of them are younger speakers. They probably practice in the field for about 10, 15 years. And those young people are typically practicing in university hospitals